Hello friends, welcome back. Hope you are doing well. So, in this series of AWS Solution Architect Associate, this is our second video. The first video is all about the introduction. What is cloud computing? What are the different market player exist in the cloud computing, and what are their shares? Also, we have discussed about the AWS services and AWS global infrastructure and the other terms. Now the second topic is all about the identity access management, which we can consider as IAM, one of the lead service which is managed from the Amazon. So today we are going to talk about the IAM service. So in this topic we have four different things: introduction, IAM concept, key IAM features, and IAM best practice. So we are going to discuss about these four things. So first we are going to discuss on the introduction of to IAM. So basically, AWS Identity and Access Management is a web service that helps you to securely control access to AWS resources. So this is basically provide a security layer on access of different AWS services. As we know, AWS provide numerous number of services, around 200 plus. So each and every service will have some security aspect to access each services. With IAM, you can centrally manage permissions that control which AWS resources user can access. Uh, Also, you can define that using IAM, who is being authenticated, the authorization, or we can say the permission. If, for example, system administrator or a cloud engineer required more permission, then we can assign or we can provide the permission according to it. If the developer required only few selected service, we can create a user for them and just assign those role or those permissions to the developer. If the persons who only required to have billing dashboard, then we can provide such a user. So we can centralize the permission, and the required permission only assigned to the end users. So this is a basic introductions of IAM service. So this is basically a picture contain IAM concept. With IAM, you can securely manage access to AWS service. So basic usage of the IAM to secure manage the AWS services. You can create an IAM user when there is a new employee to your corporate. Like whenever the new person hire or select with any of XYZ position in our organization, then we can create a user and we can provide permissions to the user with having the limited or the role which he or she need to be performed. For example, as I mentioned earlier, the persons who need to have only billing, he or she just need to check the billing, then we need to provide this billing administrator only, or we can say the billing rights only. So using IAM here in this picture, we can see the IAM as a user securely communicate with the AWS service. Each here we can see the note, each IAM user is associated with only one AWS account. So each and every user is only associated with one only AWS account. So we don't have like the one user is associated with multiple AWS account. Now the key IAM feature here, we do have four different features: users, group, policies, and roles. So let's discuss on more on the each thing. First is users. An IAM user is identity with associated credentials and permission attached to it. This could be the actual person who is the user, or it could be the application that is a user. We can create a user for actual user or for application, or we can say the integration part. We can also create a user. With IAM, you can securely manage access to AWS service by creating IAM user for each employee in your organization. Simply, as I said earlier, according to user's profile, or we can say the role of the user, we can create IAM user, and we can provide those permissions to that each users. By default, a newly created user is not authorized to perform any action in AWS. If I simply create a user, that doesn't make that user is having the full rights or the specific user content access. Once the user is created, we need to provide additional IAM policies, or we can see the roles to users when he or she can perform the task. The advantage of having one-to-one user specification is that you can individually assign permissions to each user. By using create a user, we can individually provide permissions to each user. So now I'm just navigate to IAM console in AWS, and we can create one user, and we can have more idea on it. So IAM basically a service. We can just write down in the search bar with IAM. Here we do have the manage access AWS resources, IAM. So this is basically a dashboard of IAM user. We can see there is no users. This is my fresh account. So let me navigate to users, and I'm going to create one user. So I'm just use test user. Here we do have the tick mark to provide a user to AWS Management Console. If we want to provide a user to Management Console, we can have. Here we do have two options: user type, specify user identity recommended, or I want to create an IAM user. So I just want to create IAM user to get all the feature or all the options. Here we do have password options, auto generated and custom password. We can have password. Let me just put password must be 8 character and must include following this and symbols: alphanumeric, uppercase, lowercase, and the numbers. User must create a new password, so I'm just untick it. Next. Here we do have three options: add users to group, copy permissions, and attach policy directly. We don't have such a group, so I'm not going to use first one, or else we can create a group first, and after creating group we can attach a policy to group, and then we can add a user. For example, if the user group called developer is there, we can assign such a IAM services to directly to that particular group. Now any user created under developer group, that user can directly access the predefined policies or predefined services to that group. Second, copy permission. If you have already one user, if you want to copy permissions from that particular user to the new user, you can directly copy and attach policy directly. Here we can see the total numerous number of policies, and each and every policy is having different rights. Here we can see the administrator access, administrator amplify, full access. For example, if you want to provide EC2 user rights, let me just search on EC2. Here we do have whatever the policy content EC2 keyword, it shows all the things. Here we do have Amazon EC2 full access. If you click on the plus button, this is the basically policy, and policy is structured on JSON file. These are the version, statement, action, EC2 allowance. We'll discuss on more on the policy later on this topic only. So here you can see this is the basically policy. So let me just click on the Amazon EC2 full access to give the rights. You can also set the permissions to boundary, but it's optional option. Next, I have put test user console and create user. Here we have console sign in URL. This is our account ID. You can rectifying from this one, username and the password. Or else you can download the CSV file. If the new person is joined, you just directly give the CSV to the guy. Here you can see the console, username and password. Let me log in with the in private window, because if I open in the same browser, it will override the existing console login. So let me just put test username. As we know, there are two users. One is root user and second one is IAM user. Root user is basically the core user from where we can create multiple IAM user, and it's registered root user with official mail ID. And this is our console user. So as I assign only EC2 policy, I can manage only EC2. Okay, I'm just navigate to stock home. I'm just navigate to US East 1. So this is my console of North Virginia. I can only manage EC2. I can create, delete, alter any of the resource in the EC2 because I do have full rights on the EC2. Okay, launch instance and all the stuff. Okay, now if I just switch back to another service called S3, for example. Let's try to create bucket. Here you can see the permission to create bucket S3 bucket create bucket permission is required. So this is basically a user where we can just manage from your user console. We can use the users. Okay, now again we move back to the slides. Next one is group. As I mentioned earlier, we can create collections of users by using group. If we create a group, we can assign multiple users to that particular group. So common policy is applied to all the users, individual users who are the part of that particular group. You set a permission for that particular group, and those permissions automatically applied to all the users in group. If you add another user to group, the new user will automatically inherit all the policies and permissions already assigned to that group. So similar to user, we do have the option for group as well. User group. We can create a group. Let me share developer. If I want to add this user to directly on that particular group, I can. And this is the policy that I need to apply to that particular. Let me assign S3 full access, for example. Create group. So whatever the users is assigned to this particular group, is have directly access of the S3. Now the policies, as we seen when we create the when we create the user, we attach policy called AWS full access, or in group we attach S3 full access. So how these policies are created and how it managed. So IAM policy is a set of permission and control access AWS resources. Policies are stored as a JSON document, JavaScript object notation. Permission specify who has access to resources and what access they can perform. So if we compare group with role, here we do have the three options. In group we can have, like for example, if I create account, then group account, and under account I create multiple users, then those group is directly have the permissions to attach anything. And if I create a role, that will similar to one kind of cap which is assigned to each. For example, if I want to assign such a rights to directly to machine, or say EC2 instance, I directly create a role and attach that role directly to EC2 instance. Similar to if I want to perform any task on ECS or any S3 bucket, I can create a role and directly attach that to an service. Here we can see the policy. This is the policy with having explanation. We can see version. This indicates the version policy being used. Statement. This is the array statement that defines the permission granted by the policy. Effect. Allow. I have allow rights. Which set allow, it means policy allow the specific action specified resources. Actions. S3. I have copied this Amazon S3 read only access. So S3 get, S3 list, S3 described, S3 object lambda get, and S3 object lambda list. These are the object, or we can say the action which I as a user I can perform if I have this role assigned to my user. And resource star. Star stands for the asterisk is a wildcard. That means this policy allowed to specify on all S3 buckets, whether is it in North Virginia or any of, but for this account only. So this is the basic introductions, or we can say the explanation of policy. Role. An IAM role is a set of permissions that define what actions are we allowed, denied by entity of AWS console. If we, it is similar to user that can access by the type of entity, an individual AWS service, and we can consider role permissions are temporary credentials, and those roles are assigned to each and the selective services. This is the perfect example of the IAM. Let's start with if I log in as a console user. Second, I can log in using CLI. We do have an option of AWS CLI where we can perform all the Amazon tasks using command line. Third one, we can integrate with SDK software development kit, kind of like Python automation. If we talk about the Terraform, if we talk about the Ansible, anything if we want to, or we can say like if we integrate with any of the using framework PHP, .NET Core, anyway, we can integrate them with as well. So using that thing, we can also attach a software development kit. We can also create a function using Lambda, and this is the basically role or permission. What are the IAM based practice? Monitor and log IAM activity. Since we create a multiple user for multiple options, it's not only have happened that when we create the user, then we forget how what happened with that particular. So eventually, regularly, we have to monitor and the task and the log of the IAM user. Use IAM access analyzer. We can use IAM access analyzer. Implement strong password policies. Password should be strong. It's not like 1 2 3 4 5 6. Follow the principle of separation duties. Establish the strong naming conventions. Name of each group users should be strong. It is not something like we have the doubt whether we create or any other guy created, or what is the purpose of this user. It should not like that way. Leverage the IAM policy. Summarize. Stay informed about the AWS security features and update. So kind to update it each and every way. So these are the best practice, or we can see the way to manage the IAM policy. Apart from this thing, we can also use user to access have secret key and access key to access the user using SDK, or we can see the CLI way. To assign a user key, we have option called security credentials. Here we have the manage console. We can create a create access key. Use case, if you want to use command line interface, local code, application running on AWS service, third party application running outside, or we can say other. Let me next. And this is my access key and secret key. Access key is similar to the username and secret key is similar to password. Never expose this secret key and access key to external users, or nor never upload it to GitHub. In case you upload it on any of the file on GitHub or any the well-known version control system, they will email or they will let you know that your access key and secret key is published over the internet, and you might hack, or you might find unwanted object or resources in your account as well. You can also download this CSV file. So this is the secret key and access key. As I mentioned, access is similar to username, secret key is password. Never share this access key, secret key with anyone if you're not authorized or anything. You can also enable the MFA. Using MFA, we can have whenever the user is being logged in, it should be asked for the password. You can use Google Authenticator. Let me use device name. Let's say test. And next, let me use my phone to just scan the QR code and enable Authenticator. We have Google Authenticator, where we have the plus sign, and where we have option to scan the QR code or set up the code. I'm just scanning this code. Show QR code and this scan. Now I can add a new account, test@dom account, to MFA. First we need to add first one, 587.885. Now waiting for second. Now the next one is 643.614. So this device has been added to my users. Let me log out, sign out, and sign into console. Account ID, let me copy it from this. This is my account ID. either I can use this URL or else I can use this account ID, test user, password. Here we can see MFA code asked before I log in. So this is my new MFA. Every time I need to have this device password is incorrect. It's again ask for the MFA. MFA code might out of sync. Again, this is the new 107332, and the second one. Six 22091. So I can successfully log in with MFA. So this is the basically IAM service with Amazon. Apart from, there are lots of things we can use as IAM. We can use access analyzer, credentials report, organization activities, and many more things. We also have the dashboard to manage this. Okay, so this is the basic information. Hope you like this video or document. We'll continuously update our next segment with this series of AWS Solution Architect Associate. Thank you very much.